Last week, I was looking through some old journals looking for this entry, and that exercise sort of led to this spontaneous clearing where I had realized things had just accumulated. I'm pretty organized, but over the years, it's what happens when we're creatives and holding on to things like, oh, I might need that for this next project. And I had still had some old critiques from a decade ago from when I was novel writing, and it was time to let things go, let old creations go so that I can make room for the new ones to come in. And I came across this really good message from one of my guides named Flame from 2023 on presence. And I remembered that time, the years it was taking me to learn this lesson. And what he said was so beautiful. I wanted to share it. Before I get into Flame's message, just a little recap of that time in my life. I was really overgiving in every area, but especially to the family and to raising my girls. And I had this sort of overall dissatisfaction, unhappiness, and I was hitting a lot of walls in my own personal life. And so I would read these passages from men who would say that if I could just be in the moment a little bit more, let the thought pass, be in the sweeping of the kitchen, then all of my troubles would just sort of fall away and I would be so content in my life. And it was sort of like all of this, so much of the doctrine, the dogmatic thinking out there. What oftentimes is my medicine is actually the opposite. So, presence was not really my problem. Presence with others, presence with the task at hand. I could be in that sweeping of the kitchen. I swept that kitchen well. And the feel of the broom and all of the things. Presence in the moment was not my problem, but I had a lack of presence with self. And like many of us can probably identify with, when we try and take that time to reconnect, really loud voices come in. We kind of have to meet ourselves again. And all of these many choices we've made, all of these times that we've self abandoned, we've pleased, we've said yes when we mean no, sort of rush at us. And, um, and then we make up all these excuses. We put shame on it, we label it, we feel guilty that we're not taking care of others, that we're taking this time for ourselves. And so it becomes this really cyclical problem in this way. We become more disconnected. And many years ago, Martha Beck, I remember her talking about this, the word selfishness, that so many, I feel like a lot of mothers, women identify with. And her analogy was to oxygen and breath. And she said, when you don't have enough oxygen, all you can think about, all you can focus on, all you can concentrate on is your next breath. When am I going to get my next breath? And that selfishness is really the same when we're so disconnected from ourselves. We don't have enough of it because we've given it away to all these other people, then all we can focus on, all we can concentrate is sort of this next breath of self. When are we going to get it? There's never going to be enough. And so, with that said, here's what Flame actually said about presence and the expansiveness of it and the fluidity of it, and that it's not about control. It's not about this fixed point. So this is my journal. These are how they look. And so Flame, so I see him, I sense him, I sense his energy, and I sort of see him in my mind's eye, an image of him. And he came back over months with many lessons. And so this was lesson number 7. And I wrote that he exploded out of this crystal grid that I had upstairs in our bedroom. Well, his flaming hair did. So he came out very flamboyant and his hair was up in flames and it burst into hundreds of smaller pieces like flame balls and fireworks. And the particles drifted down from the sky like the spiraling leaf I'd seen earlier in the day, almost this boat-shaped leaf as it descended to the ground. When flame balls hit the ground, they absorbed into the soil and nutrients turned into green grass and vibrant fruit trees. And Flame said, presence isn't a fixed point, a concentrated form of being. When you're present, you're actually expanded to all, to everything, to every taste, sound, sight, feel. You have this expansive peripheral vision where you're both the fireball, the descent, the nutrients, the new growth, the bounty. We think of presence as still, silent, almost stuck, rigid, controlled, like no distraction from a fixed point. But presence is the opposite. It's being open and receptive to experience the symphony that both surrounds you and is you.